Hi folks, welcome to another video from the Malton Motor Company. Now today's video is called Questions and Answers. We've been getting loads and loads of questions over quite a long period of time now, and unfortunately we're just so busy all the time we've just not had a chance to address any of them worth talking about. So we've got 10 minutes before we go back to the workshop and do a little bit more on a car we're working on, a sales car, and we thought we'd just print out a few of the most popular questions that we get asked and give you a few answers. So here goes. Right, the first question we've got on our sheet here has been asked quite a lot. And it's been asked most recently by a guy called John, and he, among other people, have asked, why does it take you so long to turn a car around for sale? Good question. The simple answer to that is we painstakingly go through the cars, as most of our viewers know, with a fine-tooth comb. We go through them mechanically, we go through them cosmetically, we go through them in terms of bodywork that needs refinishing. We get all the wheels done. So basically, just to try and put that down into, sort of narrow that down into time fragments. So, you know, you've got, just to machine polish a car to the standard that we do it, like a 5-stage machine polish, well, between a 3 and 5-stage machine polish, and a ceramic coating, and all the detailing afterwards, the clean-up operation after all the machine polishing, and the glass, and all underneath the bonnet detailed and everything else. That side of it, you're into a good 2.5 days, solid work. Then that doesn't include the interior leather cleaning, the carpet shampooing, all the mats and sort of tailored carpets stripped out, shampooed, cleaned, dried, put back into the car, all the boot mats, the boot carpets, everything pulled out, clean behind the spare wheel, clean all the tool kit, you know, shampoo all the carpets and dry them out for the boot, wipe all around the door jambs, polish all the wood with different sort of wax polishers that we have. So treat the leather with the hide food that we use, and that takes a good 1.5 days, 2 days to do that. You know, we're getting in all the vents, we're getting in all the nuts and crannies, all the sides of the seats, we're getting in all the pleats of the leather, we're getting in all the carpets, underneath the mats, shampooing all the other mats. So there's a lot of work there, and that is before we do any of the mechanical work, which actually we do first, and then we do all the cleanup operation and all the detailing after that. Obviously the mechanical work takes as long as it takes. You know, we could have quite a lot of bushes to replace. We might be waiting for parts to come from our suppliers, because the cars that we sell now, the parts that we get, that we need for them, you know, unless we have them in stock ourselves, either used or brand new from previous jobs that we've not used, we have to order them in specially, and that takes time. And obviously no time is wasted, so obviously we get on with something else while waiting for the parts, you know, and then obviously when the parts come, you know, when they arrive, we get on with that job. But you know, there's like however many days it is to get all the mechanical work done, from servicing, gearbox oil and filter, engine oil and filters, plugs, brakes, stripped and cleaned, bearings taken out, cleaned, repacked with grease, put them back. Yeah, there's just so many just routine jobs. Grease all the rear suspension. You know, there's just so much to do, and that's if it doesn't even need a lot of stuff replacing. We might have anti-roll bar drop links to replace, we might have ball joints to replace, we might have brake discs and pads to replace, calipers to replace, flexi brake pipes to replace. Whatever it is, it gets done. So obviously it's very, very difficult to try and put a figure of time on that, simply because, well, every car is different of what it needs to bring it up to our top standards. As part of our package, when we sell a car, the whole car gets detailed, the whole car gets machine polished, the whole car gets prepped regardless of cost in terms of mechanical components. It also, we have a couple of days where we'll probably strip a headliner out and put another headliner in, and then clean up after ourselves after that. You've also, you've also got to wait for probably a week for if you send a set of alloy wheels off to be diamond cut or painted or refurbished or whatever. Recommissioned. They're going to take a good week to come back. And then we're going to get new tyres, wait a few days for those to come. So there's so much that we do on each car that probably a lot of people don't appreciate. Some people will know, but some people probably won't envisage. There's just so much to check, so much to do. And I have to be honest, another reason for, I suppose, why people ask this question, another reason for the time it takes us to turn a car around is basically because, apart from the body shop guys who do my paintwork and refinishing, and apart from the people who we use to refurbish the wheels, and apart from the people we get to MOT cars, track cars, wheel alignment, and also fit tyres, I actually, believe it or not, do every single job myself. I have nobody here working for me. Basically, in-house here at the Malton Motor Company, there is just me. So I do all the restoration work on the cars and recommissioning. I buy the cars, I sell the cars, I market the cars, video them, take photographs, write descriptions. I also, we strip Jaguars for spares as well, so there's that to do, and I do that. I get a bit of help from time to time from family, and I have had somebody coming down here to help sort of with the cleanliness of the place and the tidying of our yard up and things like that. But generally speaking, I do everything apart from what I mentioned on my own, from re-veneering to the leather reconditioning and recolonizing, to the carpet shampooing, to the servicing, to the repairs, to the underbody, of course, dinitrol treatment that we put on all our cars as well. So all the underside's cleaned off and then and dried off, and then it's all treated with dinitrol. All that's done. Everything's done by myself. And you can spend a few hours just moving cars around here and backing them in and putting them in position and cleaning up after yourself. So that is probably a long-winded answer to a short question, really. Why does it take you so long to turn a car around for sale? But they are the reasons why. Okay, so next question. I'll try and blast through these. I won't be as long-winded, but I thought that one deserved a bit more of an explanation, really, because I know a lot of people have asked that. Simon has asked, what's your favourite Jaguar? Well, I love them all, really, in their own way. I've always had a soft spot for XJS's. My father had an XJS when I was a little boy. He used to take me to school in it, and I was absolutely overwhelmed and fascinated by it. And I just love the craftsmanship inside. I love the design. I love the unusualness of it. And I've always had a soft spot for XJS's. But again, I like D-types, E-types. I like all the XKs. I like all the models, really, if truth be known, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to about 2008. Hence why we, generally speaking, work on cars from 1960 to 2008. And after that point, yes, I like the F-type. I quite like the new shape, well, the last shape of the final XJ. That's now finished being made. You know, there's lots of Jags I like, but I have a soft spot for XJSs, but I like them all. So that's a quick answer to that question. Hopefully that answers your question, Simon. Philip asked, which oil do you use when preparing sales cars, and why do you use that particular brand? Well, a simple answer to that is we try to use Castrol as much as possible. Jaguar, like all manufacturers, have over time swapped from this brand of oil to that brand of oil. What they recommend, it was Shell, and then it was Castrol, and then it was, you know, other brands like Mobil One or whatever. But we generally, in the age cars that we have to prepare, and obviously customers' cars that we service, we try to stick to Castrol, obviously the right grade and the right spec, but we try to stick to Castrol as much as possible, and we've never had any problems. So Castrol is the answer to that question. David asked, do you use genuine parts when preparing your sales cars? And the answer to that is yes. We either use brand new genuine parts and filters and service kits, or we use good quality used genuine Jaguar parts. Some parts for some cars, as you guys will probably know, have been discontinued, they're hard to get, or they're out of stock, and they're on back order, whatever. So then we have to sort of, the result then is, because we've got to get a car turned around, we might have to buy a pattern anti-roll bar drop link or something like that. But we try to go for the, you know, more expensive pattern parts if we have to use them. But generally speaking, for the cars that we do, we have certain suppliers who can supply us genuine Jaguar parts all day long, so that's what we use. Now, Martin asked, do you buy Jaguars direct from the public, or do you use auctions? Well, the quick answer to that is no, we don't use auctions. We're not into auctions at all. We don't use them. There are local auctions in this area where we are in Malton that do stock cars that potentially could be cars that we might buy, but after seeing the quality of the cars that go through and just the whole risk of an auction, really, even though you can go and have a quick look around them, is not how we do business, really. We need to look into the history, and we need to look into the car in a lot more depth than what you can in an auction before committing to buy that particular car. So we, generally speaking, we advertise in lots and lots of different places, and we advertise to buy Jaguars for cash. So when I say cash, bank transfer, but we advertise to buy cars from the public. So unfortunately, sometimes when you get a deceased estate, when the relatives are having to sort of sell everything off and get rid of things, then we get a lot of calls and we buy a lot of cars that way. We also get a lot of calls from Jaguar owners that who love the Jaguars, who've loved having them, who've had them all their lives, but unfortunately they've come to an age where either they can't drive because of health problems, or they've been stopped from driving, or they just don't feel comfortable driving a car that size anymore. So then they phone us, or their relatives phone us, and then we go about it. We go about trying to purchase that car, if it's a car in the right condition, and if it's a car that is desirable to us, and the condition is what we're looking for, then we would consider buying it that way. Yeah, but we don't buy from the trade, and we don't buy from auctions. It's just not. There's very, very few people who do business like us, and it's just safer and easier if you just deal with the people who actually own the cars in the first place. Right, the next question is by Trevor asked, Do you take on customer servicing and repairs? Well, the simple answer to that is yes, we do. Now, we're very, very busy with our sales cars, and obviously they come as priority because that's what this business is based on, renovation and recommissioning of Jaguars, so we can sell them ourselves. But if we have room in our diary, we will welcome anybody with cars from 1960 to 2008. I'll be honest, after then, we're not that interested unless it's just routine servicing. But if it's within that time frame, and you want anything, doing any servicing, suspension work, wheels recommissioning, any paint work doing, basically we can be a one-stop shop for you. We can sort out wheel refurbs for you, we can sort out tyres, we can sort out any servicing, any suspension work, any issues, we can sort out if you need a new headliner putting in your Jaguar or Daimler, we can do that. We can do seat renovation. We can do seat. We can recolonise your seats and leather interior. We can fit new carpet sets. We can do whatever you want. We can fit new door mirrors, any parts that you want on the car, whatever it is, we can sort out for you. So we can do servicing. In answer to your question, Trevor, we can do servicing and repairs on other people's cars. The next question, Peter asked, why do you fit new style wiper blades to your old Jaguar sales cars? Well, the simple answer is they are a better wiper blade. In two respects. The new style, I call them licorice sticks because they look like that. The new style aqua blades that you can buy to replace your windscreen wipers with now. One, that they're a reasonable cost. Two, that they do a really good job and clean your screen properly, and they seem to last longer. And three, the old metal wiper blades, always the paint fades or it rusts, or it looks just horrible, and things like that. I find after you've spent so much time and money on a car recommissioning it, something like that will just spoil it. Plus, they look quite ugly. You can basically see all the workings of the wiper blade and the metal work, and it just looks. And sometimes in XJSs and things like that with a very small windscreen, they protrude up the screen a little bit, and that's just what they're like. And that's all you can see, just a big metal wiper blade when you're looking through the windscreen, and it's not something, I think, that looks very nice. So people, of course, have their opinions, and if people want to put them back to original, it's going to cost you 20 quid. But as it stands, we always put the aqua blades on now on all the cars we recommission because they just look better, they don't rust, they're maintenance free really. And that's the answer to that. Peter. Ian has asked, could I have my Jaguar recommissioned by you to the same standard as you renovate your sales cars? Well, if you're not, the answer is yes. If the car is of a good quality and a good standard to start with, like our cars are that we buy before we start recommissioning them. If it's a car that's rotten, and uncared for, unloved, and if it's in a right state, then not because we couldn't restore it, but because of the time factor and how much it would cost, we tend not to get involved with those. If it's of a really good standard, like our cars, but it just wants going through and just making mint, and money's no object, because we don't skimp on our cars, and we certainly wouldn't skimp on your car being recommissioned, then yes, we can. Just to give you an indication, we generally spend between £3,000 and £6,000 plus on every car we recommission, because we go through everything. Judy has asked, are Japanese imports worth buying? Well, yeah, they are. They are worth buying. Jaguars have been repatriated to this country from Japan for quite a few years now. I think some of the earliest ones that I've owned and sold myself are 2014, around that age, but I know that they've come in before then, and they've certainly come in after. Obviously we're in 2024, nearly 2025 now, so you know, there was only so many Jaguars of the era that we sell that was ever sold to Japan. So there must be sort of scraping the barrel now of hunting these cars down across there and then you know, repatriating them. We don't repatriate them and import them ourselves. However, we have bought from people who do quite a few. We haven't got a constant supply. We haven't got anybody who particularly we use. There's nobody we particularly use to obtain these Japanese imports that we sell from time to time. We just select them, you know, randomly, like we do any of the other cars that we buy. But in answer to your question, Judy, they are worth buying, but it's like everything, isn't it? Everything, you know, you've got to take every car on its own merits, and you've got to look at every car as a separate entity, because, you know, not one car has been looked after, not two cars have been looked after the same. And, you know, the thing is with the Japanese cars is they will be rot free, and they will have been cared for, because they do care for the cars in Japan, especially cars like that. They were a status symbol out there, so they were really, you know, they were put on a bit of a pedestal. So they've been looked after in terms of, you know, they're not trashed inside. The leather looks like no one sat on it, and the wood veneers are nice, and the bodywork's usually rot free, and the underside of the car is usually like you could eat your dinner off it. However, because of the climate there, and this is me speaking through experience of buying and selling and repairing and looking under lots of these Japanese import Jaguars and Daimlers, is they still want a lot of money chucking at them. So don't think you're going to buy one of these cars with 20,000 miles on and think, you know, and it's rot free, and you think, oh my God, it's just like brand new. There's a lot going for them, but the bushes on them and rubber gaskets and like around the door handles, rubber bushes, rubber gaiters, rubber boots on the ball joints and stuff like that, and hoses and belts and stuff like that. These all deteriorate because of the climate out there, and generally speaking, when they come across here, they need a proper recommissioning. And bushes and ball joints and gaskets and all sorts of bits of rubber trim and plastic trim seem to just turn to dust, you know, like shock absorber top mounts and bushes and bits and pieces. Everything just seems to just turn to dust. So there's a lot of recommissioning in terms of that. Tyres are usually perished, so you'd be into full sets of tyres to make the car proper. You'll be into new headliners, because obviously the climate out there doesn't, you know, the headliners still drop basically on those, even though they are in a different climate to us. Obviously everybody knows that the Jaguar headliners drop across here, but they do drop there. And you know, there's still lots of recommissioning to do, and then that's, you know, and then on top of that, there's all your servicing, all your fluids, all your brakes to go through, gearbox oil and filters. Everything needs to be gone through, as a car would be if I bought it from here. So yeah, they are good cars, but they are not maintenance free, and they are not free. But they're basically not cars you can just jump straight in and just drive down the road and not do anything to. They still want a lot of work on them. But yeah, generally they are good cars. Right, Terence has asked, what do you think of the new Jaguar branding and concept car? Well, what can I say? I probably think like most other people, really. I'm an old dinosaur now, and you know, I've been in the job 31 years, since I was 16, and well, I've known Jaguar, green leather Chesterfields, walnut desks, a bit like in here really, and you know, obviously the traditional leaping cat and Jaguar logos. Yeah, that's the era I'm stuck in, and I like it, and I'm comfortable in that area, in that era of Jaguar cars. And I think everybody's got a problem. I think lots of people have got issues when things change. Now, some things change for the better, and sometimes they don't. I'm not a fan of electric cars. I'll put that out there now. I am not a fan of electric cars. I'm not interested in them. I still like the concept of an internal combustion engine. I still like the noise of them, the sound of them. I still like just the way they feel, the driving experience. You know, I just still love it. So I'm not tempted by an electric car myself. I don't like the restrictions of an electric car. And I don't like the expense of an electric car, because they're very expensive. I know Jaguar have probably got to change their ways and have probably got to sort of modernise in terms of production techniques, and they've got to modernise, haven't they? And they've got to bring some new models out. But I just thought they could still bring something fresh looking out and keep some of the best bits of the old Jaguar brand and styles that people love, because then, as far as I'm concerned, they would then appeal to the older Jaguar drivers, the Jaguar drivers of perhaps my age and maybe a little bit younger, and also they could try and pull in new customers from other brands. You know, what I've seen up to now is not my cup of tea. The logo is not my cup of tea. The actual concept of an electric car, just solely electric cars, is not my thing. And the colours they've used are not for me in the concept car, and the design at the back, certainly I could probably make something of the front, but the back and the side is just not for me. However, I have seen a view of the car from above, and it looks okay from above, but there's just Jaguars normally, wherever you look at that car, from the back, from the side, from the front, from above, wherever, they look absolutely perfect. Everything looks like it's meant to be where it is. But this particular car, there's certain angles of it that don't gel very well with me. And by all accounts, after reading lots of social media posts, most of the general public. Right, Gary has asked, we've got two more questions, folks. Gary has asked, why are most of the cars on your website sold? Well, right, okay. There's a reason why we keep the sold cars on the website. There's a couple of reasons, actually. The first reason is, one, people can see what type of cars that we've had in the past. They can also see the types of cars that we consistently have in stock, and they can also see the consistency of how we recommission these cars, and how we prepare them, and the lengths that we go to. And they can see this car today that we have advertised, say for instance, is not just like a one-off condition car. We do them all the same. And unless you have a big selection of cars of evidence, of proof of what you can do, people have only got your word for it, or they can only surmise and think, well, you've got that car on your website, and I presume that all your cars are done like that, but I don't know for definite. Well, if you've got loads and loads and loads of cars on your website that are sold, they act as your bit of a previous shop window, in my mind, and people can see you know, what you've had in before, how you've prepared them, you know, the types of cars you get. So if, say, for instance, you're looking for an XK8, an X100, then potentially you might be holding out for a, I don't know, a sapphire blue colour car with magnolia interior. But, you know, up till now, I've only had silver, red and black cars, say, for instance. So you'll think, well, I definitely want to buy one off this guy because he does the car, he prepares the cars exactly how I want them preparing, but he hasn't had the colour that I'm holding out for. Well, if he hadn't have seen those cars on my website that we previously sold, he probably wouldn't be convinced that I, or this business, was the place where he wanted to come to buy a car. So in answer to your question, yes, I can understand, Gary, you might be frustrated because every time you go through there's loads sold. However, there is lots of cars on there with just a leaping cat on or a Daimler logo, depending on what they are, and it says awaiting preparation. So in actual fact, you can see what's coming into stock if you flick through the pages. You can see the model, the mileage, the price, and you can see that on there. But then you can also see all the previous cars that we've bought and sold. Not all of them, because we have taken tens of cars off. We have to do, because there's only so many cars we can actually put on the website itself. So we do have to we do hemorrhage some of those cars over a period of time. But generally speaking, we try and keep as many on as we possibly can, so people get a good idea of how we do these cars and how consistent we are at doing them. So hopefully that answered your question, Gary, and anybody else who's maybe thought that or asked that. Sarah has asked, do you take part exchange vehicles against your sales cars? Well, that's a good question, because most people presume that every garage will take part exchanges if that particular person decides that they want to buy a car from you. Well, here, we don't rule out taking a part exchange, but I can't say for definite that we will. If it's not a car I want to buy, because basically what you're asking me to do is, when you say, can I part exchange this car, you're asking me to buy that car, because the asking price of the car that you're wanting to buy from me will be reduced by the amount of money that's agreed for the car that you're wanting to part exchange. So in actual fact, you're asking me to buy that particular car, and if it's not a car I want to buy because it's too high miles, it's not the right brand, because we'll only take Jaguars or Daimlers in part exchange anyway. But if the Jaguars and Daimlers aren't in the right condition, the price can't be agreed accurately to what it's going to cost to recommission the car, or it's done too many miles, or it's on a category D on the write-off register or whatever, or there's outstanding finance on it, and there's a debate there of how much the car's worth to how much finance is left out. We just won't buy it. We won't take it in. So yes, we have taken part exchanges in, and we like to take part exchanges in, because bearing in mind, if we do, and it's a car that's low mileage, and it's a car that's lovely condition, and it's a car that would we could recommission for a reasonable amount of money, then we would take it in part exchange, and that would just save us hunting high and low for stock all the time. It would be a no-brainer, that. But if it's no good, or it's a different brand, then it's just pointless, because all I'm doing is buying something that I don't want, and unfortunately that isn't what we do here. So that concludes about 12 questions there. There's loads and loads and loads of other people who have asked questions, but I thought 12 would be enough, especially with the long-winded answers that I tend to give. So hopefully that's answered some of your questions potentially, or giving you a bit more of an understanding of how we work and how we operate. We are a really professional, really friendly, really easygoing business that will help as much as possible you to keep your fantastic Jaguar or Daimler on the road. But we do a proper job. We don't cut corners, we don't bodge things up, we do a proper job. And of course that incurs its costs, which is obvious. So yeah, if we can help you, if you want to sell us your car and you think it's a good enough prospect for us, then please get in touch. If you want your car servicing or recommissioning or repairing and it's within the age group that we work in and the brand, then please get in touch. And if you would like just to ask us any more questions, just please get in touch. So our telephone number to speak to us on, if it's in regards to booking cars in for servicing or repairs or headliner replacement, or if you're wanting us to give you a bid on the car that you're wanting to part company with, then please give us a call on 07759 938 395. And our email address is sales at the Malton, that's MALTON, so sales at the Malton motorcompany.com. Please, if you're on Facebook, go onto our business page, because Facebook make it so easy for us to upload videos, photographs, comments, advertise all sorts of different parts and bits and pieces. They make it so easy, so quick to just do it on your telephone, that we tend to put everything on there first. So go onto Facebook search bar and type in the Malton Motor Company. Follow and like our page. Over 3,200 people, I think, follow us on Facebook on our business page, and about 2,500 or 2,600 people like our page. And of course, there's lots more that don't follow us and like the page, but they just check in every now and again. But if you could follow us, then you'll get updates on your phone or on your iPad or whatever as quick as we put them on. Also, do check in at our website from time to time, and it's www.themaltonmotorcompany.com. And also, you'll be watching this on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to our channel yet, which I think over 3,000 people have, then please subscribe. It's free to do so. It's free entertainment. And it's free information, and it's out there for you to take advantage of. So if you want, click the notification bell and subscribe, comment and like on the videos, and it's always interesting to hear what people think and how people and hear how you feel about things, and keep asking the questions, because we will do another questions and answers video at some point very, very, very soon. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and like this video and share it, and we'll be along with something very, very soon. We've got some fantastic cars that are going to hit the marketplace very, very, very shortly. We're just finishing one off now in the workshop, which I'm going to continue to do in a minute, which should be ready tomorrow. And then we've already got one in here which is already finished, ready to photograph and video. But unfortunately, everybody knows we've been hit by this bad storm recently, and it's just slowed things down in terms of getting things photographed and bits and pieces. So I'm sorry we haven't had many videos out on our YouTube channel for the last 4 weeks or so, but again, we're busy trying to get the cars done. Even when we get them done, we can't photograph or video because we need to take them outside where you can see them in the daylight properly, and it's been raining or windy, or you can't hear me properly because it's just, there's too much noise going on or whatever. But we will endeavour to get out there as soon as it's a good day and get all these photographs and videos done. So we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.